Welcome to Rich Planets TV. I'm Richard.d.hall. This week's guest is a blogger, author, filmmaker, and in his spare time is a retired hospital porter, although not by choice. He has researched and written about alternative knowledge and government cover-ups for over a decade. In 2006, he started a blog website, which has grown in popularity and regularly attracts thousands of visitors per day. In October 2011, some of his views were covered in mainstream newspaper articles. A few weeks later, he was suspended and subsequently sacked from his job as a hospital porter. Welcome back for a second appearance on the show, Ben Emlyn-Jones.
Hi Richard, good to be back.
Right now, your situation, your personal situation, has drastically changed since you were last on the show, and today's show we're going to talk about that because it's quite grotesque, really, in my opinion, what's happened to you.
Yes.
Now, to get the ball rolling, before we'll talk about your sacking from your job, seemingly as a thought crime, just give us a general introduction as to hospital portering and how long have you been a hospital porter for first, Dan?
I've been a hospital porter for about 22 years.
Right. And you had a unblemished record? Well,
my record was unblemished and completely clean, and not only that, it's been described as exemplary. I was, it's no exaggeration, and there's no place for false modesty here. I was one of their most valuable members of staff. I was the most dedicated, one of the longest served.
Right. And well respected within the hospital?
Yes, I had many respected colleagues, both other porters and nurses, doctors, who respected me deeply, and I respected them.
All right, well, let's just touch on when you became interested in alternative knowledge and government cover-ups and that kind of thing, because you've been into it for quite a lot of years, a lot longer than most people these days. It goes back to the 1990s when you're interested in David Icke's work, the moon landings. Just tell us about how you came by this knowledge and what you then did to research it.
Well, it's hard to pinpoint an actual moment or where I could say I became conspiratorially aware as such, so to speak. It's a process that it took a number of years in my life, really starting in the late 1990s and leading up to the period around 9/11, and then on through various incidents that have occurred during my life. I think in the late 1990s, I became interested in UFOs, and I read several books about UFOs by Timothy Good. I also read about the theory of the moon landings being faked, and that was really the centre of my research. The books about moon landings often covered other subjects as well, such as ancient monuments and alternative history. And I read a book by Graham Hancock as well. Then 9/11 happened, and as with many people, it was a major turning point in my life in the way I saw the world. I was not aware enough to immediately state that I was suspicious of it. It took a number of months, really, to catch up with the literature that the investigators were writing about that.
Okay. And you've written 2 novels, Ben?
Yeah, I've written 2 fictional novels.
Okay, and you started your blog website in 2006, and just for anyone who wants to have a read of your blog website, just give us the domain name, Ben.
It's www.hapanwo, that's Hospital Porters Against the New World Order, HPANWO.blogspot.com.
Right. Yeah, if you go on that website, you write extensively. I mean, you're very articulate in your words, and you explain things extremely colourfully. Very good use of the English language. And I do recommend Ben's blog websites. Some of the articles on there are very interesting. Now, Of course, you chose the name for your blog website. It's a bit of a Mickey take of another organisation called Police Against the New World Order. Am I right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say Mickey take. It's a kind of emulation of Jack McGlann's organisation in America, and I thought, well, if police can have a organisation against the New World Order, why not Hospital Porters?
Yeah, and so you named your blog Hospital Porters Against the New World Order. Now, another area that you're interested in is like the big brother state, and the fact that you're worried about the fingerprinting of your child at school. So, but we're going to talk about that in another show, and perhaps the microchipping of the population, this kind of thing. So that was another area that you became concerned with. Am I right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. And just to illustrate this, that Ben's sort of distaste for anything where people are gathering information on people and holding databases, you were extremely against the census of 2011.
Very much indeed, yeah.
Just tell us why, Ben.
I consider it to be part of this many-faceted and multi-channeled agenda into creating a database electronically by which the government can use high technology to wield power against the populace.
So let's just, we've featured this clip in the past, but we'll watch it again, and it's Ben's treatment of his census form. Have you filled in your census form? Are you feeling a tiny bit guilty because you haven't completed it yet? Well, one person who hasn't filled in his census form is Ben Emlyn-Jones. We caught up with him in Lytham St Anne's to witness his protest and his uncanny management of the government's questionnaire. So what's the reason why you're doing this, Ben?
Because the census is an act of big brother imposition on the people of this country. They say you've got to answer these questions, and they threaten you if you don't, if you say no. I mean, and they threaten you with a £1,000 fine, and it's all run by an American arms contractor called Lockheed Martin.
Really?
Isn't it awful? Okay. Hospital Porters Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order. Welcome to Panwo TV. I'm at the Probe Conference at St Anne's in Lancashire, and you're about to witness a ceremony of desecration. Bring forth the defiler. Is this the defiler? The sentence of this court.
Let's get rid of it.
As that you be burned at the stake until you are dead.
Yay! Yay!
Burn! 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 Oh, come on.
The scourge.
Burn! Burn!
We're not going to have a look.
Hang on.
Right.
If only I was a smoker.
Yeah.
Sorry about the delay, ladies and gentlemen. That's it going. Yes, that's it.
There we are.
Burn! 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 Burn!
Burn.
This one's going to go viral. Yay!
Back to hell.
Where you belong. Return these ashes to the census office. This is not my form, this is Austin and Chris's form. We're going to return them to the census form. Yeah.
What, you're going to return it as ashes?
We are. When these ashes are cooled down, we've saved the envelope, we're going to put them in and we're going to send them back.
With a nice message.
What do you say to people who think that you're just a bit mad for doing this, Ben? What's your answer to that?
I think you're mad actually if you fill this in. If people are coming to you and asking you questions, for no other reason than they want to ask you questions, and if you provide false information, they tell you you're providing false information when they are the ones asking you the questions. I think that's crazy, because you can say to them, well, if you think you know better and you think you know more about my life than I do, then why don't you fill the form in for me? So
Absolutely.
I mean, the whole thing about it is mad. It's all crazy. Well, we just told them we had a little accident. We were trying to light a cigarette, and the census form caught light. We were a bit cold.
It's a senseless form now.
The census form, yeah.
Do they not need this information in order to set policies and stuff like that, Ben?
Well, the thing is, though, whenever they want to set policies and stuff, they just do other surveys, which leads me to suspect there's another reason for this census form, which they're not telling us.
Right.
Especially when people like Lockheed Martin are involved. I mean, the government say, well, your data is safe with us. However, they've left submarine blueprints in laptops in cars, and they left social security details down the backs of chairs in trains. What we're going to do with these ashes now, if are they cool enough? Any ashes that we can revive, we're just going to. We have the envelope. We're just going to return these ashes to the people they came from.
Not much left of it now.
There's enough. Yeah, there's barely an envelope full, but I think there's enough to sort of like be going on with. There's enough to sort of satisfy the census people, I think. You know, we are actually returning a form in
a slightly different state.
Slightly more carbon and oxygen probably than it arrived in, but now we're going to. I'm not going to lick the envelope because they can take your DNA from that. I'll just fold
I think they'll be able to find who you are, Ben.
Well,
you're going to put it on your channel, aren't you?
Well, but I mean, the thing about this, ladies and gentlemen, ladies Yatsu, let me speak to people. Let me speak to the people.
Get them on hip.
They
I'll stand here as well.
can't prosecute you. They say they can prosecute you, but they're not. Last time there were 1 million defaulters, and there were 38 prosecutions. I'd be very surprised if there will be a single prosecution this time, because it'll be like the poll tax 20 years ago. You know, they're all full of bravado. We can send you to jail, we can threaten you with Greek buggery and all this sort of thing. And when it actually comes to it, they can't prosecute people. There's a backlog of poll tax defaulters that's going to go back 150 years. And this is going to be the same again, because more people are defaulting this time. Janet Street Porter, this woman who writes in the Daily Mail, which is hardly a revolutionary journal, has said she's advocating breaking the law and not filling out your census form. Millions of people are going to default. The jails are full, the courts are full. Don't be scared. Don't let them frighten you. Okay? So we're now going to return this to whence it came. Thank you for watching her Panwo TV. Hospital Port's pride and dignity stopped the New World Order.
Right, last night we witnessed the satanic ritual of Ben burning his census form, and we've just found this poster, which is reminding you it's time to fill it in, Ben.
Oh, fill it in. Fire is wasted on witches, you know. It's best for the census form, but this is unbelievable. Just listen to this. Complete your census online or drop it in the post today to avoid a fine. Well, as we've already discussed, it's very unlikely anyone will get prosecuted for defaulting on their census at all. However, just look at this. Listen to this. Help tomorrow take shape. Oh my goodness. Has anyone got a sick bag?
Okay. Thanks for that, Ben.
All right, that's enough of obscene publications for one day, eh, Richard?
Okay, I mean, although there was humorous aspects to what you did there, very serious message, you think?
Yes.
Right, now, you appeared in at least 2 mainstream newspapers late last year, October the 2nd, 2011, and in The Sun on the 21st of September 2011. I'm just going to read a few extracts, Ben. The first one was Wales on Sunday.
Yeah.
And it says that it refers to you as a conspiracy theorist, and it says the conspiracy theorist is convinced the world is run by secret powers, the moon landings never happened, Al-Qaeda was not behind 9/11. They always add a few little things in to belittle the person. So, for example, they've said Ben refuses to give his age since he founded the ageless movement, believing one's age is oppressive. So they've added that in there, and it kind of goes, oh, well, this guy must be a bit mad because he's founded this ageless movement. So that was the Wales on Sunday article, which you can look up from your website or if you do a search on the internet. And then there's this article that appeared in The Sun, where it basically is a report from the Weird Conference, which is a conference where various conspiracy theories are discussed. Now, there's a quote here by Ben in The Sun about the Weird Conference. Hospital porter Ben Emlyn-Jones is so fearful in 1997 he set up an organisation to expose the evil. It's called Hospital Porters Against the New World Order, HPANWO, although not all members are in his line of work, and it has a website where the latest theories are debated. It goes on to discuss various other people's, it mentions chemtrails, and it's written in a very derogatory fashion, in my opinion. But you managed to get mainstream news coverage.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it is sort of like a tongue-in-cheek kind of Mickey take, as you say. I mean, it was not as bad as I was expecting it to be. And to tell you the truth, my expectations of The Sun cannot really be undercut.
Yeah.
However, they were. I mean, a lot of it was vaguely factual, but it was done in this very sort of like lampooning manner.
And we have the usual Nick Pope gets his own little box in this, as if to say, well, yeah, you might look at all of that stuff. It's a bit weird, but let's really listen to the expert called Nick Pope, the expert, because he knows about this stuff because he worked for the government.
Nick Pope is he's almost become a kind of sentimental mascot at these kind of conferences. Like, you can't have a UFO conference without Popey. You've got to bring Nick Pope in, haven't you? And of course, he did write a column in the paper for a while, and of course he is seen as the country's official ufologist and official expert on paranormal phenomena. Though I think you and I and many other people realise that he's not qualified to hold that position, and a lot of what he says is false and untrue, and I think they use him basically to muddy the waters and to turn people away.
In my opinion of him is basically these conferences are very, very important. I'm not saying that every conspiracy theory that gets into the weird conference or other conferences is correct, but broadly, false flag terrorism, 9/11, 7/7, 100% they were done by intelligence agencies. They were not done by Islamic terrorists. That is a fact that I can state as fact because the evidence is there to prove it. Now, and these conferences cover such things. That's why these type of conferences are dangerous to the authorities. Now, the authorities, they want to have a voice in these conferences. They don't want people like you, me, and others, Andrew Johnson, speaking about these kind of things without having their opinion and they're having a voice. Now, Popey is their unofficial voice, and that's why he's there. And he doesn't admit to being controlled by a government, but the circumstantial evidence suggests that he is.
Yes.
So that's rant over for this week's show. But let's just come back to what happened to you. So you appeared in these 2 articles, and then about 2 weeks after that, then tell us what happened then.
2 weeks after that, something sudden and terrible and completely out of the blue took place. Without any warning or expectation at all, I was suspended from duty. I turned up for work on a night shift, expecting a normal...
So this is 10 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
You're just going into work as normal.
Going into work as normal, and I was immediately called up to the office, told to bring all my personal belongings with me, and the head porter, that is my immediate boss, said, I've received instructions to suspend you from duty. And I said, my reaction was, my jaw hit the floor, and I almost fainted, I was so shocked. I said, what's all this about? And she says, I can't tell you. It's internet related, but I can't give you any more information than that. And she then asked me to hand over my ID card and my basically